Transport authorities meanwhile say the implementation of the modified number coding scheme in Metro Manila is suspended until further notice. The scheme was supposed to take effect today, but the Metro Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, suspended it due to limited public transportation. Under the modified number coding scheme, a private vehicle that is coding on a certain day is allowed to ply the roads if it has 2 or more passengers, including the driver. The scheme is meant to reduce the volume of vehicles on the roads of Metro Manila. Also exempted from the modified number coding rule are vehicles driven by health workers. The Philippine capital city's Light Rail Manila 1 now on its second week back in operation under the new normal. LRT 1 is currently operated, maintained, and upgraded by Light Rail Manila Corporation. LRMC is a joint venture company of Metro Pacific Investments, AC Infrastructure Holdings Corp., and Macquarie Infrastructure Holdings Philippines. One of the consortium partners, Metro Pacific Investments, recently took in Japanese conglomerate Sumitomo Corp. As a strategic partner. With us now for more is Juan Alfonso, President and CEO of LRMC. Good to see you, Ping. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Kathy, and good morning, everyone.
All right, so how have things gone on for LRT1 in its first full week under the new normal?
We started operations last June 1st, and we supported the Department of Transport's move to start opening public transportation. No? So currently, we're still limited to about 10 to 12% of our usual volume, and it's really the phase one. No? The phase one of our opening is really making the public confident that public transport is safe, and a lot of our actions right now are geared towards that. No? We're increasing the disinfection of the station and the trains every 30 minutes. We did a tie-up with the University of the Philippines for the ultraviolet cleaning of stations and trains. UP is our technical partner in this effort. We've also intensified the measures coming into the station. We have thermal scanners that take temperatures, that we prevent people with temperatures from coming into the system. And then also in terms of our payment, we do cashless payment, which is a lot safer. So we do this through the automatic fare collection system. And like other public transport, we have a no mask, no entry policy. So I think the first phase is really getting the public to realize that public transport is safe, and we want to support the government's effort and DOTR's effort in reopening the economy and getting us back on track.
Right, we're seeing some pictures here of some of the measures you've instituted, including the UV light. Talk us through that. I mean, how fast is the turnaround time from the time that light is used on the train carriage before the next run, picking up passengers?
Right, the UV lights, the trains are cleaned at the end of each run, which is about 30 minutes. So that you're getting a train that is cleaned by UV light every 30 minutes. So I think this is one of the standards that is probably one of the highest among the public transportation. So at any given time, you're only 30 minutes or less than having a completely clean train and sanitized.
It's pretty interesting just seeing that that gadget in the train carriage. It's really something new and something to drum up the confidence of the commuter. In terms of the ridership numbers, are you intending to hit a maximum 50, or is that impossible under the new physical distancing measures?
Well, I think under the phased approach of the government, we're cooperating with them in terms of supporting the return to work. So we feel by instituting the safety measures that the public gains confidence in, number one, in public transportation. And second, also, as more companies start opening their businesses and coming back to work, we're able to give the capacity that is needed for the system.
Yeah, pre-pandemic, your ridership topped over 130,000. So what are the numbers going to look like as we get more of the workers back on the commuter trains and into work?
Yeah, for now we're following the DOTR directive of 10 to 12% of ridership, and I think together with them we're closely coordinating the volume requirements that the system needs. To bring confidence, again, what we're doing is the safety measures that we're implementing. We're reinforcing these together with these safety measures. We've also enhanced our Ikot Manila app. So we now have a contact tracing feature for that app that customers are able to give information. For example, if they see anything or see passengers who may not be well. So overall, it's cooperating with the government authorities on this effort and trying to bring confidence back to the riders. In terms of the regional, we've also benchmarked ourselves against the regional players, and we learned that our measures are actually the most stringent, no, in the region. The only countries that do social distancing are Malaysia and Indonesia, no, aside from the Philippines, and also Japan and Hong Kong actually don't do temperature screening. No. So I think these are things that we're communicating together with the DOTR and to the riders, and also for the public to gain confidence that the LRMC as a company is going to do enforce the latest technology and the latest measures to keep the train safe and running.
And the temperature checking, as I understand, isn't just the usual gun to the forehead, but thermal scanners, the ones that you see in airports, and you've deployed them in the high density stations, around 2 of them already deployed. But how many more of these are you hoping to install in all of your 20 stations, running the length of Monumento in Caloocan to Baclaran?
Yes, the thermal scanners will be deployed at the busy stations. So at the morning peak, that's going to be the Monumento station and the Roosevelt and the Rodeo station. So a total of 6 stations will have the thermal scanners. So the thermal scanners allow temperature checks, and visually the guards are able to see any temperature of the passengers that's colored red. No? There's also an alarm that comes out. So out of the next 3 stations will be the afternoon peak, which will be Baclaran and Hilpuyat station. So a total of 6 stations will have thermal scanners.
Right, but even before the thermal scanners, we have to get through those markers. As I was seeing them in the pictures, commuters having to follow the markers on their way up to the platform. So what is the average queuing time for passengers wanting to get on the train? How far ahead should they get to the station to ensure that they get on the coach after the thermal check to the appointed time before they're likely to arrive late at their destination?
We're encouraging customers to at least give at least half an hour more for their commute. Right now, the volume of passengers still allows us to process them quite quickly. You know, we're still not at that full blast stage where it's as busy as it normally is. So about half an hour extra, we believe right now should be okay.
Right, and how's your staff? How are they holding up in their PPEs in the heat of summer, especially those deployed to the stations, either to man or to clean it?
Right. I think with the PPEs, we're working with our team and our health and safety department to balance, comfort together with safety. So we're constantly looking at new technologies and new ways of doing these things, and keep everybody safe, keep the team members safe, and keep the customers safe. We're also, I think in terms also of team members, we want to make sure that their health and safety are also considered.
Right, and beyond the existing LRT1, how are the works coming along on the extension of the system to Cavite? I mean, just before the lockdown, when I took the train with you for a chat, you did make a mention of construction in full swing along Baclaran. Has that resumed following the lockdown?
We are now coordinating with the DOTR to get the final go-aheads for those to commence. No? And I think the reason why we're doing that is a lot of the movement is still restricted at the moment. And for us to resume works, we're actually ready with our contractor. Just making sure that the supply chain of the material and the contractor are not wasted once we start construction. Everything has to be in place. With the movement still, not at 100% or not at the normal basis, then people still need transportation again and logistics. No? So I think we're closely coordinating with the DOTR. Just opened again last week in terms of our business, including the Cavite extension. So we're evaluating, I think, the next steps on how to get it moving faster. For the works with our contractor they can do inside their office, they're doing this right now. These include the assembly of some of the equipment, like the launcher, and some of the other equipment that we use for the extension.
And your new normal now includes a new partner, as Metro Pacific's brought in Japan Sumitomo Corporation to take part in the consortium through Metro Pacific Light Rail Investments Corp. Has Sumitomo had a role so far in the resumption of LRT1's train operations?
Yes, we're very excited to welcome Sumitomo as our partner. They have extensive rail experience in Japan. And excuse me. Right now, it's still very early days. As one of our partners, we're still in the process of we're in the process of I think meeting with them, getting to know them more, and using them for some of their rail experience. So the transaction was closed last week, and we actually have several meetings with them planned to see how we can both help each other.
And so what role will the new partner play in the infrastructure works for the Cavite extension system? What are you seeing as their value add into that project?
They're going to get representation on the board of the company. The Cavite extension has already been awarded to an EPC contractor. And we're looking at them for really their experience and expertise in helping us make the right decision, get the project moving, and complete it sooner rather than later.
All right, before I let you go, I know you've also implemented a bikeways project, bikes lined up along the streets, parked for people to use, commuters to use. How does that complement what you do now, post-lockdown?
Well, thank you for that. The Bikeways project actually solves a lot of the last mile connectivity. So a lot of people who may not be able to get rides in their first mile or last mile can use the bike, park them at the stations where we give them bike racks to park the bikes, and then take the train. So, we also allow foldable bikes on the train. So this will help overall mobility for the passenger. So it gives them more options, and it also is our way of supporting integrated mobility and connectivity in a environment friendly way.
Right, makes a lot of sense because that's the biggest hindrance to people wanting to go back to work is the lack of transport. Well, I look forward to hopping on a train with you in this new normal, Juan. You keep well. Thank you so much for taking us through these new realities. Juan Alfonso of LRMC.